In a stunning display of strategic brilliance, the indie gaming world has collectively decided to pack its bags, turn off the lights, and go home. Why, you ask? Because a game with a development cycle longer than most undergraduate degrees, Hollow Knight Silksong has finally announced a release date. Developers across the globe, upon hearing the news, apparently looked up from their desks, saw the grim future of September 4th, and immediately slammed their delay button, presumably with tears in their eyes. It's truly a sight to behold. This isn't just a simple case of avoiding a crowded release window.
Oh, no.
This is a full-blown panic-induced diaspora, a grand retreat from the inevitable shadow of a game whose fanbase has been subsisting on crumbs of information for 7 freaking years, including me. The level of reverence and fear this single title commands is so profound it's forcing grown adults to reconsider their entire release schedule. The message is clear. When Silksong arrives, all other indie games are little more than digital roadkill. The moment that release date dropped, the world of small-scale game development froze. All activity ceased, and a quiet whisper spread from studios to studio.
Just move, don't even try, it's not worth it.
It's less a release and more a digital eclipse. And who are the brave, or perhaps terrified, souls who have stepped aside to allow this monolithic beast its moment in the sun? We have the Magnificent Seven, a coalition of games that have wisely decided to live to fight another day. Good decision, guys. We're talking about titles like Aeternal Lucas, Baby Steps, and the poetically named Clover Pit. They're not just delaying, they're performing an act of self-preservation. These games, no doubt crafted with a delicate balance of passion and caffeine, have been deemed too fragile to face the unholy hype machine of Silksong. It's like watching a group of adorable little kittens.
Step out of the way of an oncoming train.
You're disappointed, sure, but you know it's for the best. The article mentions a total of 7 games, all of which are retreating from the battlefield. This isn't just a coincidence, it's a genre-wide acknowledgement that you do not under any circumstances get in the way of a game whose community has been sharpening their collective pitchforks and demanding a release date for nearly a freaking decade, including me. And now, let's begin our roll call of tactical withdrawals with Aeternal Lucas. This poor unsuspecting title was originally scheduled to come out sometime in 2025. But after the Silksong announcement, it's been pushed back all the way to 2026.
This isn't a delay, it's an emergency evacuation.
One can only imagine the meeting where this decision was made. The developers, having spent years on this project, sit around a table. One of them nervously pulls up a news article and says,
Guys, Silksong has a date.
A collective gasp fills the room. Someone whispers,
Push it back, push it back.
The head developer, with the solemnity of a general ordering a retreat, declares,
Push it back to the next year, we're not ready to die on this hill.
By moving a full year, Aeternal Lucas isn't just getting out of the way, it's practically moving to a different postal code. They've decided to wait for the nuclear winter to pass, and only then, once the fallout has settled, will they peek out from their bunker and release their game. Next on our list of prudent retreats is Baby Steps. The title, it seems, is a prophecy of its own journey. The developers, seeing the colossal shadow of Silksong, have decided to take a series of small, cautious steps backwards. No sudden moves, no heroic charges, just a slow, gentle, and deliberate exit. The developers of Baby Steps have wisely chosen to acknowledge their place in the gaming hierarchy. They are not the main event. They are not the reason people will be taking off work. They are the charming appetizer that will completely be ignored when the main course arrives. This decision is a lesson in humility. The team behind Baby Steps has shown us that true strength isn't about fighting an unwinnable battle. It's about knowing when to bow out gracefully and let
the reigning monarch have its day.
And then we have Clover Pit, a game that, according to the article, has been pushed back to September 26th. This is a particular hilarious form of self-sabotage, honestly. It's like standing at the finish line of a marathon, waiting for all the winners to cross and then jogging over the line and celebrating in the dead quiet. The developers have decided to watch Silksong's release from a safe, comfortable distance, presumably with a bowl of popcorn and a notepad. They'll be taking notes on the initial reviews, the inevitable server crashes, and the millions of players who will be too busy to even notice their game. Clover Pit's release is a solemn vow, saying, "We will not be a casualty of this war. We will wait for the dust to settle, for the initial frenzy to pass, and for the world to remember that other games actually exist." Next up at the list of casualties is Demon School, a game whose name suggests a very amount of bravery, has also shown a stunning lack of courage. The developers have decided to push it back to November 19th. It's not just a delay, it's a full-on seasonal shift. They've decided to avoid the fall season altogether and wait for the cold, dark days of late November when gamers are likely to be looking for a new title after they've exhausted every single nook and cranny of Silksong. They know that no one, absolutely no one, will be playing any other game in September. By delaying, they are not just avoiding the competition, they are betting on the sheer overwhelming power of Silksong to consume all of their potential consumers' time for months on end. It's honestly a sad but true reality that the developers of Demon School have accepted. Their game, no matter how good it is, would have been a forgotten relic if it had dared to stand against that titan. So, they've decided to wait until the inevitable Silksong fatigue sets in. And then comes Feyland, a game whose name evokes a sense of whimsical fantasy and adventure. It too has been pushed back, a decision that can only be described as a desperate attempt to protect a delicate magical world from the
Unyielding hype of a digital insect.
One can only see the developers of Feyland pleading to their PR team saying,
Please, just get us out of the way. We're not a bug with a needle. We're a fairy. We can't take all this kind of raw power.
It's a sad and frankly hilarious spectacle. The article doesn't specify Feyland's new date, which means they probably haven't even decided yet. They're just running. They are waiting for the perfect calm moment to emerge from the shadows when the world has forgotten about grand adventures and is looking for a small charming escape. It's a gamble, but a smart one. When the dust settles from the Great Silksong War, a tiny fairy will be waiting to take on the stage. The list of delays continues with Little Witch in the Woods. This charming title has also retreated to the sidelines. The developers have probably decided that their quaint cozy game is no match for a game where you fight giant terrifying bugs. They've wisely chosen to wait for an audience that wants to relax, not be stressed out by a punishing platformer. The decision to delay Little Witch in the Woods is a good strategy in knowing your audience. They understand that people who would be playing Silksong for hundreds of hours are not the same people who are looking for a gentle, relaxing experience. So, they've made the bold decision to wait for the storm to pass, and only then will they present their cozy, comfortable game to a world in need of a break. The witch, it seems, has looked into her crystal ball and seen a future where her game is lost in the noise. So, she's decided to cast a spell of delay, ensuring her game's survival in a world that has been utterly consumed by the legend of the Hornet. Even the game with the most powerful name has blinked. Megabonk, a title that suggests a certain level of courage and resilience, has also decided against a head-to-head clash. You would think a game called Megabonk would be unafraid of a small digital insect no matter how famous it is. But
You would be wrong.
the developers of Megabonk have chosen to postpone the release, which can only be interpreted as a public admission that no amount of bonking is powerful enough to stand up against the yielding force of a game that has been on everyone's mind for nearly a freaking decade.
Including me.
Their game, with its presumably delightful premise of bonking, will have to wait for a more opportune moment. It's a humbling reminder that even the most powerful sounding indie games are just a small digital bonk in the face of a gaming legend. The entire gaming world is now proof to the unshakable truth that Silksong is an unstoppable force. The article points out that the original Hollow Knight saw a massive surge in player count on Steam after the release date announcement. This isn't just a coincidence, it's a prophetic sign of things to come. This surge of players is the equivalent of a massive storm system forming off the coast. The weather is getting bad, the winds are picking up, and the people are all retreating indoors. The people are the gamers, the storm is Silksong, and the indoors are their computers, where they are replaying the first game in preparation for the second. The message is clear. The Hollow Knight fandom is a sleeping giant that has been finally awakened, and when it fully opens its eyes, it will consume all other gaming news, all other release schedules, and all other hopes for a quiet launch. In the end, this entire situation is less a delay and more an ultimate game of chicken. It's a standoff, and all of the other indie games have blinked first. They've admitted in no uncertain terms that they cannot possibly compete with a game that has been in development for so long that its release date has become a meme. The other developers are not cowards, they're simply being realistic. They have a product they want people to play, and they know that in a head-to-head competition with Silksong, their game would be a mere footnote. So they've chosen to retreat, to wait, and to hope that the world still has room for them once the great Silksong has had its say. It's a humbling, hilarious, and deeply sad story of what happens when a legend finally decides to show up. So, what do you guys think? Is Hollow Knight Silksong an unstoppable force, or are these developers just being smart? Let me know in the comments below. And guys, thank you once again for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more gaming news.
Take care and I'll see you in the next one.